Romans 6, verses 1 and 2 says, "What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Certainly not. How shall we who died to sin live any longer in it?" Now, in these verses, Paul explains a question about grace and its relationship to sin. He had just explained in Romans 5 that God's grace covers all sin. He also said that through Jesus, grace is greater than any wrongdoing. But here, Paul awaits a misunderstanding. If God's grace is so immense, some people might think that sinning more would simply bring more grace. However, Paul's response is clear. Certainly not. Grace is not just a license to live however we want. Paul is reminding believers that when we accept Christ, we enter into a new life and die to our old ways. This isn't just a symbolic change, but it's a true transformation in our spiritual identity. When we place our faith in Christ, we share in his death and his resurrection. Just as he died to sin once and for all, we too are called to die to our sinful nature. We are to live a life that honors God. To die to sin means that we are no longer ruled by our old habits, our desires, our mindsets. Those are the things that have kept us away from God. Sin no longer has power over us because of Christ's victory on the cross. Living in this freedom does not mean perfection, but it does mean a new direction. A life of faith in Christ, it means pursuing righteousness and turning away from sin. If we are truly in Christ, our lives should reflect his love, purity, and holiness. We should not see grace as a safety net that allows us to live in disobedience. We should see it as a calling to live in fellowship with God. This passage invites us to examine our hearts. Do we value God's grace enough to live in a way that honors it, or not? See, a true faith isn't simply belief, but it's action. It's a commitment to live as people who are transformed. Let's respond to God's grace with gratitude. Let us choose a path that reflects our freedom from sin and our desire to grow closer to him each and every day.